Right, so let's have a look at the cloud assessment and malware analysis lab. So the first thing we're going to do is a basic drill that we normally do when we start a lab, is to be able to discover the network that we're on, hosts, MAC addresses, IP addresses, and so on. Okay, so I've got a little thing to draw the diagram here, but obviously in real life you would use something like Visio to be able to capture it. So I'll just get logged in, and then what we're going to do is to grab a Linux machine and a Windows machine, and then just do a basic test. Then we're going to go on to the use Nest to do a basic cloud assessment. Okay, let's try that again. Just takes a minute to log in. So I'm running this from home, so there'll be a little bit of a lag, but it should be fine. Okay, so what we're going to do is grab two machines. Okay, so you should find that we've arranged them into Linux servers and Windows servers. So we'll just grab this one. I was just using this one a little minute ago, so I'll just go back on it. And then I'll grab a Windows one. There we go. Okay, so this one is already started up, so is this one. Okay, so we do our IP config, and we're on the 10.200.0 network because that's 255.255.255 there. So that's our whole network. We can contact that network directly without using a router in between. And then over here, we just type in ifconfig, and there we go. Okay, so it's up to you which one you use to do your nmap, but let's do it from the Ubuntu one. Okay, so we can do a ping sweep if we want, just to find out which machines are online. Okay, so you should only do this on a private network. Okay, so we can see all these machines are actually online on our network. Gives some basic, so the 15 hosts. So what we can do is we can scan for operating systems if we want to find out. So we found the IP addresses. So now with the -O option we can find out what operating system they have. In this case we need to do a super user. Just takes a little minute to scan. And this time it gives us the operating system details and so on. It also gives us the MAC address and the services that are running on the machine. So if we actually just look at a few of them, so let's look at the first one, 0.1. It's probably running OpenBSD. It's actually an open source firewall. It's just running a couple of ports, DNS, HTTP and HTTPS. And then for 0.8, looks like we've got a Windows server here with running lots of services there. There's its MAC address and it's running 2003 service pack 1. This one here is difficult to determine. There is the scan it's got and so on. So you can see it's actually struggling to find the Ubuntu one. Maybe isn't standard system that it recognizes. Okay, so that we can see here we have a Cisco device over here, and it's telling us that it's iOS 12 point something. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to do a basic vulnerability scan. So let's get this started up. Okay, so this is an excellent tool to be able to identify high-level threats, vulnerabilities against the machine. So if you just log in with Bill and Bill, you should be able to get in. And then we're going to create a new policy for our scan. Create it here. Give it a name, my scan here. Give it some other things that will be used in the reporting. My scan. My Z. My Y is coming out as a Z. This is unfortunate. Okay, so in terms of port scanning, everything's fine. We'll take the default range. We'll do some SSH port scanning. We'll do a ping, and we'll do a SYN scan, and so on. So everything is fine there. So we can just save that. And then over here, we'll actually see what this actually gives us. So we'll be doing more on network forensics later in the module. So let's actually go ahead with that one. So let's look at our ifconfig. And we're on Ethernet 9. So we'll run TCP dump. Could run Wireshark if we want. We'll run this. Ethernet 9. Okay, so let's let this rip. Okay, so we now have our policy. And now we're going to create a new scan. My scan, I'm going to run it now. So we're going to use our scan, which is that one. We're going to scan this machine over here, and I've forgotten what it's called. And it's 10.200.0.15. So we could put the /24 in here if we wanted to scan a whole range of nodes, but let's just do that on its own. So there we go, just leave that running. This takes a little minute. Now you can see over here the traffic should come through in a little minute. Just looks like firewall traffic just now. Should start to come through in a little minute against that. There we go. Okay, it's really getting to work now. There's it's checking against the web server. So let's have a look over here. So nothing has came through yet. Just make a cup of tea. Got 9 informational and 1 medium risk. Not a major problem. Looks like it's identified a few ports that are open. 22 is open, 21, 80, 23, so on. So you need to check that they should be open, of course, Got a few more coming through now. We have an anonymous FTP login, which is bad. So that means someone can anonymously log in to the FTP server without a username and password. Got a low one coming in. There's another one in there. Denial of service on SSL. Unencrypted telnet server for obviously the telnet port, and so on. So it's really kicking in now. There's a banner, Apache banner, disclosure, and so on. Okay, so one of the risks, that's actually one of the vulnerabilities, is actually that we can log in through telnet. Look, it's managed to try and log in there. The risk here is that it's actually unencrypted, and that someone could actually eavesdrop and sniff the packets. So what we'll do is that we'll actually just quit this, and then we'll just prove that we can log in. We're going to run Wireshark over here. And I think we're Ethernet 9. Okay, you'll probably find there's a little message that's blocking you. So just find that little pesky message and then just click. So we'll go into more detail in another lab about this, about the traces and so on. But for this, we'll just have a look to see if we can exploit this weakness or show it. So the address that we're connecting to is 0. Let's see where we are. .15. Okay, so we're just going to log in and then we'll have a look at the data packets just to show that it's text and that it's not encrypted. Okay, that's us in. So we'll go back here. So as I said, we'll go into this in much more detail when we look at network forensics. But here we go. And then what we do is that we right click and we follow the TCP stream. And there you go. So that was me typing in. There's the echo coming back. So my input is the red here and the server's is the blue. Okay, so you can see everything here. When we sniff the packets, we can see everything that's actually going on. So let's quit from there. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to install our SSH. Let's kill that. Okay, so we do our apt-get install and then open SSH server, and so ready installed. That's good, excellent. So now what we're going to do is that over here we're going to log in to our our new one. And so putty's already installed. So the great little putty program. And sorry, I think we're on 15. So we're going to log into 10.200.0.15 on port 22. And again we'll run our Wireshark. Okay, so just move this window here and there. Okay, there we go. Right, so we'll just try and log in now. Port 22. Yes, and Napier and Napier 123. Okay, so that's us in. LS and so on. Right, so let's have a look over here, and you can see it's different already. This is SSH version 2. Then we'll follow the stream. Let's see what we get. Let's stop it. Okay, so you see what happens. That's what gets sent to the client. That's what we send, and then there is a negotiation here for the cryptography that we're going to use. And then after it, really, we can't really make any sort of sense of it. So SSH is good because it's actually encrypted traffic that we have. Okay, so if we had continued our Nessus scan, hopefully, we should have found that we've got a problem on the Ubuntu one, and that VNC is actually open. I don't know if we've identified it yet. It's not there yet, but if we had continued the scan on, then we would have found out that so continue the scan on and you'll get a purple one there, which will be a high risk, and that's that the VNC is unprotected. Okay, so let's go ahead and let's see if that's going to work. So we're going to log into 15 and let's go for it. Okay. So someone has set a password on it. Let's quit here. Okay, so what we'll do is we'll reset that password that's been set on it. Oops. So system preferences, remote desktop. Okay. So by default, you should find that this is configured on. Okay, so just accept that. Now what we'll do is we'll reconnect. Okay, and we should see our desktop there, so that's really quite a bad security bug for that. Okay, so we'll just quit. So we'll lock that down. So we've seen one way to lock it down is to add the password, but what we can do is we can go in here and then we could say we've got to confirm each access. So when we actually do access it, then over here it comes up with a little message saying whether we should allow or refuse the connection. So we just refuse it because we don't want them to connect, and then that's it. So we can obviously add that password in there. Okay, so for this next bit, what we'll do is we'll install a secure FTP server on our system. So we're going to install these tools. It's already installed, which is good. We'll do an apt-get install for the secure FTP daemon. Okay, it's already installed, that's good. And it's up to you. You can use whatever editor that you want. So I just use Nano in this case. And we'll have a look in the config for this. I'll set up a few basic details. Okay. So it looks like these details have already been set. Someone's already added them in. So what we'll do is we'll just quit from there. Control X, and then we'll start our server. VSTPFTP daemon. Start. Okay, good. Right then, so we have our secure FTP server running. Now what we're going to do is that we're going to go over here, and then you can download the Win SCP client, just the basics. You can use FileZilla or whatever one you prefer. I use FileZilla quite a lot for mine, but in this case I'll just use this this little client. So 10.200.0.15 port 22, and then we're going to use Napier and Napier 123. And here we go, so we should get a fingerprint that we can accept. It's already been accepted. And there you go. So this is now secure. So if we were to capture the packets, we wouldn't really see very much because we have a secure connection.